Well, well, well. Welcome to the jungle, the place that'll humble you and won't even think twice about it. Let's check this video out.
That they saw his body being dragged and buried. Local authorities believe that he was killed with bow and arrow.
Sometimes deep in the jungle, the night brings with it sights and sounds that belong to no known creature.
Creeping me out.
Like figures that seem both part of the earth and apart from it. Creatures that make you question reality. And other unusual finds. And today, we're peeling away these secrets. Let's be honest here. If you saw that darting towards you even in broad daylight, it would scare the ever-living crap out of you. While this string mop-looking stick is just a performance, don't think it's all about putting on a show. In Yoruba culture, Zangbeto acts as a mysterious guardian that helps keep peace and order. These guardians wear large cone-shaped costumes made from raffia fibers, which hide who they are. They play a key role as a bridge between the living world and the spirit world, performing at religious and community events. Their deep connection to ancient rituals and ancestral spirits not only helps maintain law, but also builds a sense of respect among their community.
How many of y'all are watching the feet area trying to make sure that's a person inside of there? I'm still trying to figure that out.
The Night Marcher. The Night Marchers are spirits of ancient Hawaiian tribal warriors resurrected to life, storming forests in the dark, ready to unleash havoc on anyone who dares to look them in the eye. For centuries, the Night Marcher was thought to be a mere myth. But as one tourist explored its thick forested area, she came across something remarkably similar to the Night Marcher. The creepy part is that she didn't even realize the danger she was in, not until she was back home safe and uploaded her photos. In the distance, one Night Marcher staring her down. The Night Marcher phased out of nowhere.
How do you not notice that? I'm gonna need for you to be aware of your surroundings a lot more if you're gonna be hiking through the woods or in the jungle or something like that, bro. Your awareness needs to be a lot better than what it is.
As if waiting in the shadows. The hiker returned, but the Night Marcher had long gone. The Arapaima. From the looks of it, you'd think these people are carrying a giant creature. And you wouldn't be too far off. Only they're carrying a giant fish. Or what looks like it. Just the size of it alone makes no wonder why a whole team is carrying it. I'd say that it has enough fish in it to feed the entire village, right? When the video made its rounds, so many people were convinced this was some ancient mythical creature, a mermaid-like hybrid that's somehow able to live in the jungle. But I'd reckon this is the Arapaima, a gigantic fish native to the Amazon in South America. And yes, this isn't even the biggest Arapaima out there. The Puppeteer. If you saw this at night, you'd think the area is haunted by something akin to the Babadook, but this is nothing more than just a performance, put on by a few African tribes that love to reconnect with each other over giant puppets. These puppets are fashioned with extreme care, made to look like actual living, breathing people. That's an impressive craftsmanship, but what makes them even more amazing is their owners. They're able to make these puppets look lifelike while operating them with just stilts. That's a talent you can't summon out of nowhere. Although if I saw them coming at me while I was lost in the woods, my heart would stop.
That's entertainment. How else you think they entertain themselves? You know what I mean? They probably don't have TV or maybe not internet, so this is a way in a form of entertainment. I like it.
Jungle Sub. The last thing you'd expect in any jungle is a sub, because aren't they supposed to be in water? Not stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere? So color these US officials surprised when they decided to check out a remote forest and ended up facing a submarine half submerged in the marsh. It was even wider once they were able to open up the submarine, revealing that it probably belonged to a gang or a cartel and was used to smuggle some illicit items around. Only how it got waterlogged is a big mystery, because no owner in their right mind would abandon something like this. And that too in a remote jungle. Wendigo madness. The jungles of Africa hold a lot of ominous things. So if you see a local running for his life, you must assume there's something treacherous following him. Now I know it seems like he's running aimlessly, but this youngster just wanted to record his hike through the jungle when he sensed something ominous following him. Not wasting a minute, he began running, not even looking back. But the second he halts, you see a dark figure appear from within the dense trees. Many believe
But he had to put it into another gear, didn't he?
this is actually a Wendigo, but one that's masking itself as a human. Others think it could be a tribesman with a taste for the hiker. Wendigo.
I'll check it out.
Two glinting eyes staring at you from the dark. That has to be up there on the list of nightmares. This happened in the Woodlands National Park,
Welcome to Woodlands National Park, located in the beautiful state of...
where a private military group set up camp to hunt the elusive Wendigo. In that context, it's quite understandable why they started freaking out after seeing those glints.
I'll check it out.
But then, things took a turn for the worse. There were some screams, and the creature darted toward the men, who quickly split, with the cameraman jumping into the open tent, hoping its canvas could shield him from danger. The Wendigo chased the others, but must have realized there was an easier target lying nearby. Creepily, the cameraman vanished after that, leaving behind this tape.
I'll check it out.
Groot.
See the thing right there? It's creeping me out.
We've learned all our lives that trees were real, but we never really gave that a thought, did we? Well, what if the same trees that give us air turn into demonic creatures at night? What if they're ready to pounce on you on any minute? But you don't know. A hiker snuck into a prohibited section of a forest, hoping to capture something unique, but found himself in the crosshairs of a tree-like creature. Standing motionlessly against the tree, you can just sense the demonic feelings that thing's experiencing. Although we don't know its motives, we do know they're not good for us. The hiker took the creature's appearance as a cue to leave, but how spooky is that?
Here earlier. Yeah, no, it's not a stump.
The Jinni. A group of forest rangers in Saudi Arabia were driving back home through the thick trees when they noticed a ghostly white figure standing in the middle of the clearing. This was unusual itself, since the forest wasn't open for tourists at that time. Thinking they'd found a lost hiker, they drove closer, only to notice it was a woman with...
That give off lost hiker vibes to you? Definitely not me. No. No, that's creepy. Zombie vibes.
long black hair reaching her back, dressed in all white. Creepily enough, the woman was completely hunched over, as if she couldn't even stand up straight. That was enough to tell them this wasn't any human. Maybe a djinn? They quickly reversed the Jeep, hoping to evade her, but the woman started chasing them. Thankfully, they eventually did escape. Stone thrower. As a hiker reached the forest trail's end, he saw a bunch of stones lying on the ground, one landing right in front of him. Curious about it, he quickly turned the corner, spotting some weird creature. Before he could even process it, the creature began hurling stones in his direction, missing him by a few inches. Knowing his life was in serious danger, the man quickly darted off. But let's backtrack a little. What on earth is this creature? Some sort of humanoid form birthed out of a crazy experiment, left to fend for itself after being abandoned? Or some extraterrestrial life form that's out to hunt us down? Who knows? Congo treks. Deep in the dense jungles of the Congo basin lurks a creature of legend, the Mokel Mimbi. With its long neck and powerful body, the Mokele-Mbembe is rumored to live in Congo and even has had reported sightings over the past few decades, but never really proved to have existed. Recently, though, there's been a buzz in the air. A video has surfaced allegedly capturing the elusive Mokele-Mbembe in action. In this footage, the creature emerges from the murky waters of the remote river, its massive form sending ripples across the surface. It's not the only proof. The Mokele-Mbembe has also been allegedly seen from the air. While skeptics dismiss it as mere folklore, the creature could still exist. Skunk ape. In the early 2000s, rumors about a creature haunting Florida took shape. It was said to have a burly body covered with hair, with a remarkable resemblance to a gorilla, but humanoid enough to raise questions. The skunk ape, as was its name, was believed to emerge from the Floridian tropical forests and raid fishermen's stock. Ultimately, it was chalked up as a hoax, but one man came forward with this video, proving the skunk ape's existence. You can't even argue that it's a human donning a furry suit, because
how do you tell? He all over the place with the camera, can't really line it up. It's already blurry.
this creature is well over 7 feet, so it had to be something inhuman, but it quickly vanished, leaving a big mystery behind. Bigfoot's rumble. Show this to anyone who says Bigfoot isn't real. Although the creature has remained out of sight for most of its existence, a lost hiker accidentally stumbled upon its territory. Somewhere deep in the rainforest of the US, the hiker saw a burly figure quickly crossing his path. It was clear the Bigfoot was looking for its next victim, possibly hoping to secure a meal out of the wandering human, but for some reason didn't see him at all. Although the thick trees covered the Bigfoot's body, you can see it clearly by just focusing the frame. The crazier part is the Bigfoot was later seen following the same hiker, but quickly managed to camouflage perfectly against the trees. Venezuelan goat sucker. In September 2013, an explorer traversing the thick terrain of a remote jungle in Venezuela found the carcass of a mysterious creature lying in the middle of a clearing. Now, there's nothing unusual about finding animal carcasses, especially in a jungle, since predators are always lurking around and leaving animals to feast on later. But what's unusual is that this creature wasn't identifiable. Although it looked like a slightly wolfish creature, its claws were insanely human-like, with small finger-like digits. If we get over the
And what's those cuts or holes or whatever that's like across the body as well? Like it's even on the face, around the mouth as well. Like what is this thing and what is all that on it?
uncanny appearance, there's the carcass's mysterious appearance. If it were an animal, it wouldn't be left like this. It'd be eaten clean. Ultimately, the explorer believed this was proof of the elusive chupacabra. Skinwalkers spotted. Skinwalkers, we've heard
Why is that skinwalker so bow-legged?
so much about them in the movies and urban folklore that we're fooled into thinking they don't exist. But they do, hiding in the darkness, ready to pop out when you least expect. Only this time, the skinwalker was also caught a little off guard, since the people it encountered were smart enough to back out against its demonic appearance. Just look at that. How can you even argue that's a person dressed in a skin-tight suit? The creature is clearly much, much taller than most humans. Plus, its gait is rather suspicious too. You couldn't possibly think that's normal. And then, this happened. A single flame and the creature vanished. That's certainly spooky, even from my standards. The forest demon. This video isn't for the faint-hearted. Right from the get-go, you can tell whoever recorded this is in a state of panic. And it's because this was allegedly recorded by a group of explorers who snuck into a forest rumored to be a testing ground for the military. So they're pretty much spooked already. But then they find this: a deer helpless on the ground, squirming against the claws or grasp of an unknown creature. The way it looks, you'd think the ground is swallowing up the deer itself.
I thought it was a bunch of little snakes on them.
And that wouldn't be too far off from the truth. Many believe this is some sort of demonic creature created through a secret experiment. No wonder the woods were off limits. Turk's Foot. With panic echoing in their voices, two Turkish hikers stopped in their tracks when they noticed a whitish silhouette calmly passing through the dense trees. The sight was so unreal and unbelievable, the two hikers were constantly questioning each other, confirming that they were indeed seeing the same thing.
Orada duruyor, görüyor musun? Çekebiliyor musun? Çekebiliyor musun?
They think they've captured the Yeti on camera. But since the elusive creature quickly disappeared, they aren't really sure. If you ask me, it could just be a creepy prank, but that's no way a human, because the way it disappeared, this creature certainly has some secret powers. Jungle Spirit. Let's settle on one thing. If you're ever alone at night, don't wander off into a forest. Forget the animals. You might meet the spirit of a long-lost woman. Yeah, it sounds like a load of whack until you see this. The womanly ghost is clearly seeking a target, so the cameraman kept a good distance, but even that didn't hinder the creature. But here's the thing. We're all thinking maybe this is some sort of sinister prank. Maybe the cameraman's paired up with another person to fake this whole thing. But look a little closely at the woman's physique. It doesn't really look like a cloak-donning person. And there's even no neck joint. Certainly calls for suspicion. Ape Ventura.
Ape Ventura.
In Uganda's thick forest, a rather strange event was reported. A chimpanzee was seen skillfully swinging a machete. These primates, natural tree dwellers, possess a grip strength.
Is nobody gonna stop and say to themselves, or pose the question of, how did he get the machete in the first place? He just randomly walking around apes and stuff with machetes?
That is 5 times that of a human, making this spectacle even more remarkable. This particular sighting points to unsettling rumors from the 1970s about Idi Amin, the former dictator of Uganda. There were claims that Amin had trained chimpanzees to use machetes, supposedly to target his enemies. Creepy enough.
So that's something to add to my list. I gotta worry about a chimpanzee with a machete out in the jungle if I ever get stranded in the jungle. That's not something else to add on.
But the idea that these chimpanzees were left behind in the wild with the weapons is more than enough to make most people worry. Plus, didn't we learn anything from the Planet of the Apes? Things like this could go very wrong very fast.
Yes.
Forest dweller. As a Colombian man walked his dog in the woods near his house, they started howling like crazy and eventually bolted off something that was hiding in the bushes. The man, knowing his dog's outbursts were a sign of something fishy going around, followed them only to find them fighting some sort of creature. Small, inhumane, and looking like it dropped off from another planet. The creature was able to evade the dog's ferocious yapping, but the man swears it later returned. He's sure he accidentally captured an alien on camera. But what do you think? First Contact. Among the most isolated groups in the world, the Sentinelese of the Andaman Islands are particularly known for keeping outsiders away. Located in the Indian Ocean, this tribe has avoided outside contact despite numerous attempts by the Indian government since 1967. These efforts included offering coconuts, which the tribe values highly, but does not grow on their island.
Daga means coconut. Laha means come here.
However, the Sentinelese responded protectively with spears, bows, and arrows. In 2006, an event highlighted their desire for isolation when 2 Indian fishermen, who accidentally drifted close to their island, did not.
That's the first time I've ever heard somebody talk about them and what type of offerings they tried to give them. We all heard the stories about people trying to go there and not making it back, you know, but I've never seen them offer like coconut, and I didn't know that was like their favorite. But you see clearly they still don't care. They still sent spears their way.
Survived the encounter. The tribe is believed to be one of the world's most isolated ones. And seeing how the rest of the world is going, I don't blame them. Switchfoot. There's a crazy conspiracy theory that states the military likes to conduct breeding experiments on apes, crossing them with mythical creatures, which we think don't exist, but actually do. Of course, nobody took this theory seriously until a scientist who decided to remain anonymous ventured into the same area known as the testing site. There, he found an ape-like creature, one with long hair and slightly feminine features, but one that possibly couldn't belong to any race we know. The creature, visible for only a few seconds, isn't doctored either. Many think this is serious proof the government has been meddling in things it shouldn't. Last reptile standing. We all know the sad story of dinosaurs in the asteroid, but who says all of them were wiped out? Maybe a few of them survived and decided to live out their days in the dense shade of jungles. An amateur explorer stepped into Congo's thick jungles and came across some unidentifiable creature. Spooked, the explorer ran off, leaving behind a forgotten camera, which captured this. Now, call me crazy, but that looks remarkably similar to some sort of dinosaur. Maybe a reptilian descendant. Although mistaken as a turtle, many experts are now saying it could be a dinosaur-like species we haven't locked down yet, because it lives so far away. Well, what do you think? Pterosaur. The trees can't hide creatures forever. They're bound to appear sooner or later, and maybe even get caught on camera. Just over another jungle, a rather mysterious and odd creature was seen taking flight. Although it could easily be a bird of prey, some sort of raptor, here's why that's not the case. The creature's wings don't match any other bird. Plus, you can clearly see some sort of a mouth there too. Many believe this is a pterosaur, a distant cousin of the dinosaur, believed to have gone extinct millions of years ago. Now, why it's appearing in the Congo jungle is a mystery. Maybe some ancient eggs hatched, or maybe they've always existed. We just don't know it. Congamato.
Do you hear that?
Shit. Shit.
The Congamato is a pterodactyl-like creature that has been reportedly seen numerous times flying over the forested areas of Zambia, Angola, and Congo. For decades, these sightings have been chalked up to confusion. Maybe it was just a giant raptor that soared, but was mistaken as the Congamato. But here's a video that will change your mind. If you look closely enough, it has even got the reddish tinge on the inside of its wings. I'm no animal expert, but that doesn't really look like something you can confuse with an eagle.
Do you hear that?
Shit. Shit.
Conchoraptor. During a nighttime tour in the South African wilderness, a wildlife ranger and a group of tourists encountered something unexpected. As they walked along an open trail, a fast-moving creature dashed by them. Later, when they checked the video footage, they saw an animal with a build similar to a dinosaur, sparking...
I was about to say, it even run like the dinosaurs we've seen. You know what I mean? Like they depict in like movies or different things like that. It even ran like that. It didn't run like a normal animal we've seen our whole life.
Conversations about it possibly being a Congo raptor.
Crazy.
The Congo raptor is believed to be the last standing raptor dinosaur in the DRC, thought to have gone extinct several centuries ago. So its sudden appearance is a cause of concern.
Yeah.
Maybe the species did survive and is still battling out life in the jungle. Forest Bruja. This looks like a scene straight out of a horror movie. A ghostly woman with no discernible face, hunched over the ground, apparently feeding on some sort of raw animal. That's disgusting. But it's not even the scariest part. In many cultures, a womanly demonic creature like that, who has a taste for raw meat, is said to haunt the forests, suddenly emerging from the ground to pounce on unsuspecting victims. A few even believe such women are actually Bruja, or witches, who can shapeshift and transform into anything they want. Once you're in the Bruja's grasp, you don't have anywhere to go but 6 feet in the ground. Dual-headed. Mother Nature really has a knack for throwing curveballs, doesn't she? Conjoined twins have been reported a few times in history, but with animals they're as rare gets. So you can pretty much guess why so many people freaked out when a skeleton belonging to a conjoined bats was discovered in a jungle in Brazil. Scientists immediately stepped up to the occasion, taking in the body of the bat and bringing it to a lab for testing, which revealed the duo had two similarly sized separate hearts and a fused spine. Also, it's quite unnerving to think the bat surviving as long as it did. Most animals with such conditions wouldn't last in the animal kingdom. Pixie dust. According to Native American folklore, there's a race of human-like creatures called the Little People. They look like humans, but are quite miniature in size, choosing to
What
spend
do you mean they look like humans? They are humans. What do you mean?
their days in trees, and only coming out at night to hunt. Of course, like all folklores, Little People wasn't taken too seriously, but a man discovered a skeleton that's raising a lot of questions, mainly because it's clearly a human skeleton, but its size is so unrealistically small, you think it's a fake. Some others think it could belong to a little fairy, which probably existed centuries ago and was more than just a myth. El Chupacabra. El Chupacabra, one of the most feared creatures in the world, said to hunt and feast on goats, sucking all life from inside them. Like you and I know it, the Chupacabra isn't a real creature, but how would you justify a find like this?
I don't know. Is it a real creature, bro? Like, we've seen some strange things over the past several months and years if you've been rocking with me. And to just flat out say it don't exist, I can't do that. I can't bring myself to say that.
Found in an unknown jungle deep in the heart of Costa Rica. This creature turned several heads because it couldn't be identified. Many think this is the carcass of a chupacabra forced to pass away after meeting some predator. But if there's a chupacabra and something manages to defeat it, I fear what that something is. The gold mine.
Uganda in Africa has discovered trillions of dollars worth of gold.
In June 2022, Uganda hit the jackpot by finding a massive amount of gold ore, 31 million metric tons.
320 million tons of gold confirmed.
Experts think this could lead to over 320,158 metric tons of pure gold, worth about $12 trillion. Imagine the possibilities. This gold mine could seriously boost Uganda's economy by bringing in lots of investment opportunities, especially in mining. More than just making Uganda richer, this gold could be a game changer for solving big problems like hunger and poverty across Africa. If used wisely, this newfound wealth could support and improve lives for many generations to come. And the woods near my house only bring out boring carcasses and the occasional trash panda sightings.
Right.
Vibranium stones. Who needs to pay all those electricity bills when you can just fashion a charge out of stone? These stones were discovered in the DRC, where explorers quickly gathered them to take home. Once there, they conducted several experiments to confirm. And surprisingly, although rocks don't carry electrical charges, these ones did. Once the video made its round on the internet, many netizens even claimed this was vibranium, the supposedly fictional rare metal in Black Panther and other Marvel projects.
As you can see, I am not dead.
But is that really the case? Well, most geologists have debunked this theory because rocks really can't store electricity. But what makes this weird is that they can't explain why these stones were emitting charges. It's just a big mystery. Trees trickle. I think Mother Nature really needs to go. Well, I guess in the jungle when nature calls, you don't really check out if there are any restrooms nearby. But don't worry, this tree isn't just gushing out urine. Although, technically that could be the truth. This is just plain water. But even that is a bit unnerving. Think how you...
That's how you be on the toilet when your stomach, when you got the bubble guts. Yeah, when you got the liquid poops.
You'd feel if you stumble upon something like this in the middle of a hike. This often happens when the tree rots from the inside. Any water the roots suck up is eventually unable to be absorbed properly. So once the rotting bark gives way, it allows all of that water to escape. Congo's domain. Forget Narnia, some jungles in the world might be hiding a whole new world in their trees. If you think this sounds crazy, check this out. That's a tree root carved out enough to let grown people pass through. Now that's insane enough, but wait till you see the inside. Who knew trees could look like that? Now while this is interesting enough, here's the creepy thing. A tree like that with a defined entrance is bound to attract visitors of all sorts. Maybe it's already an established ritual site, but the folks haven't arrived yet. Or maybe it's a resting place for evil spirits, since it is located in the middle of nowhere with nothing but an eerie vibe. Jungle Dash. Swaying wildly on its side, this tree makes you think there's a monkey riding its branches. But take a closer look. That's no primate. At least not one that we can recognize anyway. If it weren't for the camera set up by a camper, no one would have believed there's a creature like that lurking our jungles. Honestly though, considering how damp and scary these places can be, it's not that shocking seeing a ghostly creature like that. Many believe it could be a Wendigo or some other folklore creature come to life. Others think this is proof that creatures like Bigfoot aren't that far off from reality. Well, let's hope these jungle humanoids stay as far away as possible. Forested Skinwalker. There's a reason you should steer clear of most forests. In the dark, they turn into a safe haven for demonic and evil creatures, most emerging from the ground to feast on the hopes and dreams of people. But it looks like nobody told this friend group, which eagerly cut through a remote forest to make it home quickly. There, lying on the side of the clearing, was some sort of creature, which ominously rose, eager to have a taste.
What is that?
Dude, that's not a bug, dude. That's not. Dude, go, 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 go.
Luckily, the men drove off. But can you imagine something like this rushing towards you? Now, this may as well be a ghost, or maybe some humanoid creature, but you bet I'm not hanging around to find out. Okiapi. The Okiapi is a rare animal that looks like a mix between a giraffe and a zebra, with its striped legs and long neck. It lives hidden in the dense Itara rainforest in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Discovered by the outside world only in 1901, okapis are very shy and hard to spot in their natural home. They thrive in a very specific habitat, the Itari rainforest, where they munch on leaves, buds, and branches. Because they need specific conditions to live and their home is shrinking, okiapis are endangered. Protecting them helps save not just the okiapi, but also the rich rainforest they call home.
Now watch. In a year or so or two, if this your first time seeing this animal just like me, in about a few years down the line, you're gonna see some millionaire or billionaire having one as a pet. Watch. That's how it happens, man. Like, I hate that it even got out there, this thing even exists. Because somebody's gonna make it a pet.
Dominican Slither. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, lurks a snake that's ready to unleash its fangs. Only it was thankfully caught by a construction crew that was working to clear off a path in the jungle in Dominica. Just look at that girth.
Big boy.
That size. This snake isn't messing with anyone, and that alone makes it a celebrity, because this reticulated python was later measured to be well over 20 feet. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that's the biggest living snake ever found. Many believe the snake might have traveled all the way to Dominica from a neighboring country, but
I believe that snake has eaten many humans. Look at the size. You know it's eating some humans.
means there are much larger snakes that have yet to be found. Oof! Congolese myth. You'd expect to see animals, heck, even evil spirits, when you're deep in a jungle, but not this. Now, I don't know what it is. At first, it looks like some sort of puppet being controlled by a hidden tribesman. But what would be the point? To be out in the open and hide yourself, communicating only through a measly puppet. That sounds pretty unrealistic. So what on earth is this? As crazy as it sounds, it might just be some sort of mythical creature we aren't aware of. Maybe it's always been a part of our jungles, but we don't know. Well, if I ran into that, I'd pray to meet a wild animal because it's just that creepy. Silhouette of horror. The worst thing about being in the middle of the woods at night is that you don't really know if there's anything there because everything is just dark. Even this visual isn't enough. You'll have to squint your eyes and turn up the brightness to make out the silhouette that's eerily standing in the middle of the forest. From a distance, its long, lanky legs stand out, suggesting whatever this isn't just a human trying to play a prank. It's not a cleverly placed mannequin or statue either, because it clearly moved. Well, as long as it stays there. Mosque gator. I think there's something wrong with this gator. Just look at it. It looks like something out of this world. I don't know whether it's just unlucky or designed like that. Either way, it won't be too fun living like that. Funnily enough, a few locals are sure this is a hybrid between a mosquito and an alligator. Yeah, I know how crazy it sounds.
I was about to say, that ain't even possible. Come on, man. Stop telling us stuff like that.
But just check out the mosquitoes in Congo. And this is smaller than most mosquitoes out there. So who knows what on earth is going on there? Open discussion. The Karo tribe, living by the beautiful lower Omo Valley in Ethiopia, is renowned for its stunning body painting, which serves almost like a piece of clothing. Each design and color tells a part of their life story, from social status to personal achievements. In June 2022, an American tourist visited the Karo people, learning firsthand about their rich traditions, including their dietary habits and the symbolic meanings of their body decorations. However, the tribe faces significant challenges, such as droughts and diseases, which threaten their cattle, a crucial resource for their livelihood. Today, the Karo tribe numbers only about 1,000 members, highlighting the urgency to address these environmental and health issues.